Yo, what is good, Knicks Nation? Welcome back to Knicks Media. This is Richie, and in this video, I want to recap the first half of the season for the New York Knicks. And in this one, I think you guys can guess, I have a special guest. My dog will be in the background throughout the entire video because why not? Her name is Sophie, if you guys are curious. So in this video, I basically want to break down everything that the Knicks did in the first half of the season. We finished 19-18. We're officially the 5th seed in the Eastern Conference, and we're going into the All-Star break over 500, and we exceeded every single expectation from Knicks fans, from NBA fans, everybody looking outside in on the Knicks, and we have a lot to talk about in this video. So before I hop in, I just want to mention, if you guys are new to Knicks Media, do not forget to hit that subscribe button. If you guys want to check me out over on Instagram and Twitter, that is at @NYKnicks_media. And if you guys enjoyed the video, don't forget to thumbs it up. With that being said, let's jump right in. So the first topic I want to talk about in this video is how the New York Knicks exceeded expectations and how they did it. Is it the coaching staff? Is it the front office? Is it the players? Or is it all three? And I think the answer is all three. Leon Rose took over as the New York Knicks president a year ago, and this is his first season as the New York Knicks president. We saw his first offseason, and he went through the first draft and the free agency, and he brought in guys like Emmanuel Quickley, Obi Toppin, Alec Burks, and a bunch of guys, but he did not do anything too insane. What Leon Rose did that's most important for this New York Knicks turnaround is bringing in Tom Thibodeau and his coaching staff with Kenny Payne, Mike Woodson, Johnny Bryant, and the entire Tom Thibodeau coaching staff is a big reason why the New York Knicks are back. And I cannot say how happy I am that Leon Rose went out there and got Tom Thibodeau for a 5-year contract, because I cannot even explain how much Thibs has meant to the Knicks organization in terms of his energy, his passion, his knowledge for the game, his ability to win now even with less talent. I mean, listen, this Knicks team had a pretty similar roster last season. The only new players, like I just mentioned, Emmanuel Quickley, Obi Toppin, the 2 rookies, Nerlens Noel, Alec Burks, and a couple other free agents that are new. Other than that, it's a very similar roster. Last year we had Bobby Portis, Marcus Morris, and all those guys. So for what Tom Thibodeau can do with this roster, it tells you how much of a real elite coach Tom Thibodeau really is. And he needs to be in the consideration for Coach of the Year if he keeps this up in the second half of the season, because what he's doing is absolutely remarkable. He completely transformed Julius Randle's game into an all-star, like we know. He is developing this young talent, a young core, to become one of the best young cores in the NBA. And I don't want to get ahead of myself, but listen, the Knicks are above 500 and we're one of the youngest teams in the league. Julius Randle's only 26. RJ Barrett is developing into a guy that we need to build around, and he's only 20 years old. We have the steal of the draft in Emmanuel Quickley, and I think that we have a very young nucleus that we need to build around, and that's exactly what this Knicks team is doing. And I love that Tom Thibodeau has a win now mindset. He came here and he said, listen, I understand that this team is a little far off from a championship caliber team, but we're not going a long rebuild route. We're going to win now. The way we're going to change the mindset of this franchise and change the brand of the New York Knicks is we're going to win. And that's the only way you can do it. We're not going to just let the entire young guys get all the minutes and we just get creamed out there, and it's just because, all right, they're going to get all the minutes, but they're going to develop because they're out there on the court. What he's doing with the minutes out there every single game is really unique, because he is not going to give anybody minutes unless they're playing well in practice and on the court. You need to earn it. And I love that mindset from Tom Thibodeau. It doesn't matter what your name is. If you're not in the proper shape, if you're not shooting the ball well, if you're not playing good team basketball, and most importantly, if you're not playing defense, you're going on the bench. And that's Tom Thibodeau's mindset. And that's going to really make these Knicks players buy into the system. And Thibodeau is such a guy that is never content. He's always upset. If you listen to his press conferences after every game, after like a win, he's like, you know me, I'm never happy. I'm never content. And that's the mindset we need, especially for a Knicks head coach, because there's too many times in previous years with Jeff Hornacek, whether it's Derek Fisher and these guys, we go on a 3-game win streak and they think it's like the biggest deal of the world, and then we just go downhill from there. They were too content when they were feeling a little too optimistic about their opportunity to win, if that makes any sense. Thibodeau, we're going on a little hot streak. We win 8 of 9 games, and he's still upset with some of the things we need to work on. And that's what we need to do, because this Knicks team as good as we are so far this year, there's still a lot of room for improvement, and it's actually insane. We still need to be a 48-minute team. We still need to finish the games in fourth quarter. We still need to be able to go up against the top-tier teams and beat them, which we've shown. We beat the Milwaukee Bucks, the Boston Celtics, and a lot of other teams, but we need to continue that because the second half of the schedule is really tough. So the first half of the season, we're exceeding expectations because of what this coaching staff has implemented into this young core. The ability to instill confidence in your players is such an underrated trait to this coaching staff, and you got to give credit to the assistant coaches as well. Kenny Payne, I think he deserves the most credit out of all the assistant coaches. No, knock on Mike Woodson or anybody else, but what Kenny Payne has done with guys like Julius Randle is remarkable. Julius Randle says himself that he calls him KP, not Kristaps Porzingis. KP is Kenny Payne. Julius Randle credits Kenny Payne a lot for his revelation. Kenny Payne is the guy that goes into the locker room with all these players and he gets to know them as a person. It's more than basketball for Kenny Payne. He cares about his players off the court. He cares about their families. He cares about their life. And that really gives you a good example of what coaching means in this league when you have that kind of relationship. And Kenny Payne has done all of that. Johnny Bryant's the same way, and Mike Woodson's the same way, and everybody else. Those three guys are not the only assistant coaches. There's an entire staff that we're bringing here, and coaching in this league, in any sport in general, is such a big part of winning, and we've missed out on competent coaching ever since Mike Woodson was the head coach for us back in 2013. That was the last time we had any taste of competency, and what do you know? Mike Woodson's back on the Knicks in 2021, and we're back, and we are above 500 heading into the All-Star break. So that's something I want to talk about to start off the video. Is definitely Leon Rose, because he's the one that brought in Tom Thibodeau on this coaching staff, and the job that Tom Thibodeau on this coaching staff has done so far has been absolutely spectacular. So now let's get into each individual player on the Knicks, and let's break down their stats for the first half of the season and think about, can they keep it up? Are they going to improve? Are they going to decline? Let's find out. So first of all, we got to talk about our guy Julius Randle. His numbers in the first half of the season: 23.2 points per game. He is averaging 5.5 assists and 11.1 rebounds per game. That is remarkable from Julius Randle. If he keeps up this pace and he can finish with 20-plus points, 10-plus rebounds, 5-plus assists, he's going to be the first Knick of all time to do that. That is absolutely ridiculous from Julius Randle. Julius Randle's field goal percentage is 48.3, and he's also shooting 40.8% from downtown. That is a big reason why he is becoming an all-star, is his outside shooting. He's also shooting 80% from the free throw line. Tom Thibodeau said in his press conference yesterday after the W over the Detroit Pistons, he said, when it comes to Julius Randle, he's playing like an all-NBA player. Will he become that? I don't know, because there's a lot of power forwards that are good in this league. I think it's going to be a stretch for him to make the second team, but maybe he can make the All-NBA third team, but he needs to really keep up this pace in order to make that, because that's hard to get on that list. But I definitely think he has an opportunity to, because he's playing like an All-NBA player. But Tom Thibodeau said the one concern he had with Julius Randle coming into the Knicks is his outside shooting, because last year, Julius shot the ball like 28% from downtown. So the coach had every single right to be worried about Julius's outside shooting. And Julius had a lot of work to do himself. I know I mentioned it last night's video, but if you guys did not check out Julius Randle's Player Tribune, make sure you do, because there's a whole article written about Julius himself, and he breaks down everything about his life. He breaks down how he understood that he let down the city of New York last year, and stories with Kobe Bryant. It's just so awesome. So make sure you guys check it out. But Julius Randle, with the 9 months off in the offseason, he went into the gym and just shot the ball tirelessly. He understood that I need to be able to shoot the ball from beyond the arc if I want to become a top tier player in this league, because the trajectory of the NBA, like today's league, it doesn't matter what position you are, you need to be able to stretch the floor and shoot. It doesn't matter if you're a center. Nowadays, you need to be a center that can shoot. Look at Joel Embiid. He's in the MVP conversations because he's shooting the ball crazy from beyond the arc. That's today's NBA, and Julius's shot chart evolution is ridiculous. Look at this picture right here. Here is a shot chart from 2017 on to this year. You can tell the difference all throughout the year. He's all in the paint in 2017, and then in 2018 he starts shooting more mid-range, and then 2019 he's getting outside more, and then 2020, and then look at this year. This is all over the place. He's shooting all literally inside, mid-range, 3-point shooting, and he's a 3-level scorer, and that's Julius Randle's game, and he deserves a ton of credit to have that mentality to understand, like, listen, I'm a guy that could be great in this league. I just need to have that relentless work ethic and just be a tireless worker, and the coaching staff and Julius Randle, they all deserve a lot of credit. So that's Julius Randle's breakdown on the first half of the season. Will he keep it up for the remainder of the year? I do think so, and I think that his play is the reason why we're this good. Without Julius Randle playing like an all-star, the Knicks are not 19-18. So let's move on to the next player I want to talk about, which is RJ Barrett. RJ Barrett is our 20-year-old sophomore, our youngest player on the Knicks. He is having a phenomenal second year in the NBA. Last year, he had a very up and down season. He started off a little, up and down. His opening night, his first game of his career last year against the Spurs as a 19-year-old rookie, he dropped 21 points very efficiently from the field. And then after that game, he kind of had ups and downs. A game with 20 points, a game with 5 points, shooting 1 of 9. And he was just up and down like any 19-year-old rookie would. And then unfortunately, in his rookie season, he sprained his ankle. And then he kind of lost his rhythm. And then when he came back from that sprained ankle, he got into a really good rhythm, and then the pandemic happened. So we did not really get to see a full season of RJ Barrett. So this is the year we can finally see what he can actually do with the full season, even though this is only a 72-game year, but still, it's only 10 games less. So it's really good to see what RJ can do. And his first half of the season is remarkable. I feel like what this season tells us about RJ is how he is going to be as a player, and that is a relentless worker, a gym rat, a guy that wants to just tirelessly work on his craft. And if you see his outshot shooting numbers, that tells you the most. If you look at it, ready? So RJ Barrett, for this season so far, he is averaging 16.5 points per game, 6 rebounds, 2.9 assists. RJ Barrett's shooting percentage is 44.3% from the field, 35% flat from downtown, and a 73% free throw percentage. So he is just showing every single game that he's getting better and better and better. And what I want to talk about with his shooting, because this is the biggest revelation for RJ Barrett. Nobody expected him to be able to do this. And Tom Thibodeau got asked about it in the press conference yesterday, and he said RJ Barrett is a gym rat. The ability to go into the gym and stay late and tirelessly work on his jump shot, that's the reason why. Tom Thibodeau got asked, why is RJ Barrett shooting the ball so well all of a sudden? He said, it's simple. He puts in the work. And that's why I have such much confidence in RJ Barrett to become a very good player in this league in the future because of the mentality. Not every single player in this league, especially as a 20-year-old, has the relentless work ethic mentality, the ability to deal with adversity, because listen, RJ Barrett went through really rough patches this season, and as a rookie, he went through 10 games in a row shooting the ball so poorly from downtown, missing open layups. He was just rattled in his mind. He definitely did not have confidence in that little stretch, and any 20-year-old could easily just let that get down on him and say, you know what, maybe I'm not good at this. He's getting a little anxious. He's getting nervous out there. Is the New York market too big for me? But nope, RJ Barrett knew that he'd be fine. And I remember press conferences with RJ when he was having that dry spell. People were asking reporters like, yo, like, RJ, why do you keep shooting threes if you're like not hitting them? Like, why do you keep shooting if you're... They didn't say it like that word for word, but that's basically what they wanted to ask RJ. And RJ said, listen, like, I'm fine. Like, my shot will fall. Like, I just need to keep shooting. And, like, his demeanor and the way he answered the question was so awesome for a 20-year-old to just be like, yo, why are you guys making this a big deal? Like, I'm just in a shooting slump. Like, it's part of the game. Like, I'm going to break out of this, and I'm going to show you guys, like, this is not a big deal. Like, I'm going to go into the gym, and I'm going to work on my craft, and I'm going to show you guys the tangible results. RJ Barrett is shooting the ball 47% from 3 in the last 30-so games, and that tells you what happens when you are a relentless work ethic. So that tells you so much about RJ Barrett, because we know that he's a slasher. We know that his mindset is basically going to the rim, attacking, finishing through contact. He's also a very underrated playmaker, but his ability to hit the outside shots is going to open up his game to another level, and I'm very excited to watch the evolution of RJ Barrett. So now let's talk about our steal of the draft, which is a rookie, Emmanuel Quickley. So his numbers in the first half of the season, he is averaging 18.8 minutes per game on 12.2 points per game, 2.3 rebounds, 2.4 assists, and his shooting percentages look like this: 38% from the field, 38% from downtown, which is pretty funny. So Emmanuel Quickley, right? he deserves a lot more minutes. I feel like if he was playing more minutes, then his numbers would be skyrocketed. But that goes back to the beginning of the video. Tom Thibodeau is not going to give minutes to anybody. You need to earn it. If Emmanuel quickly comes off the bench and he puts up 3 shots and he misses and he's not playing defense, yanked out of the game, you're not getting more than 10 minutes. That's Tom Thibodeau's mindset, and that's going to light a fire under IQ, and I like that from IQ. So his play this year was been absolutely insane. I mean, he blows away everybody's expectations. We know that Emmanuel quickly is a revelation. We know that he's a steal of the draft. Nobody expected him to be able to draw fouls like he does, like a veteran. Nobody expected Emmanuel quickly to be able to just hit the three-pointer that efficiently, the ability to create his own shot, the ability to run the point at sometimes, and the ability to have that relentless work ethic in the gym. And I keep saying that word, relentless work ethic, but it's so true because this Knicks team has that, and that's so awesome because what Julius Randle wrote in that player tribune, he said that this Knicks team are so young, but they're so determined to be good, and the young guys are soaking up knowledge, they're a sponge, and it's so refreshing to hear that from Julius. But Emmanuel quickly, another part of his game is his floater. It's automatic, and I feel like what IQ's potential in this league is, we can't even imagine it. We cannot even fathom what IQ's peak is going to be in this league. He's a rookie, and the calls that he gets at the three-point line is ridiculous. He has that veteran feel to him. When somebody's touching his arm beyond the three-point arc, he knows to go up with it because he's going to get the call, and he's shooting the ball crazy from the free throw line. This is the most crazy stat for Emmanuel quickly. He's shooting the ball 94% from the free throw line. He hit 94 of his first 100 free throw attempts. Think of that. That is historical. That is the only player in the last 20 years to hit their first 94 free throws in their first 100 attempts. That's historical right there. Emmanuel quickly, I think that he is a guy that's going to get better and better. He's going to get more confident, and whenever he gets more minutes is when we're going to see a better Emmanuel quickly. Next up, I want to talk about Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson has a very interesting season so far because he had an up and down year. He had some games where he looked a little lackadaisical out there, some games where he looked absolutely dominant on the defensive end, catching lobs, rebounding the ball on the offense, getting those putback dunks, and then unfortunately he went down with an injury. Hopefully we can get Mitchell Robinson back because Nerlens Noel has been playing so well, but he's playing a lot of minutes. So it gets me a little worried because Nerlens is an injury-prone guy. That's what he's been known for. But Mitchell Robinson, he's played 27 games. He's averaging 8.5 points per game. He is also averaging 8.4 rebounds, 1.2 steals, 1.5 blocks per game. These are very good numbers from Mitch. I like his usage percentage. I like his defensive rating, and he's the reason why our defense was so good when he was on the floor, and he deserves a lot of credit. When he comes back, it's going to be awesome to have Mitch starting and Nerlens off the bench because Nerlens is holding his own, and that segues into Nerlens Noel because Nerlens Noel, he deserves so much credit. His game last night against the Pistons was awesome. So Nerlens is averaging 4.9 points per game, also averaging 6.1 rebounds and 1 steal, 2 blocks per game. He's a guy that is so efficient on the defensive end. That's his value. His ability to protect the rim is actually elite. He's top 5 in the league in blocks per game, and he was coming off the bench all the way until Mitchell Robinson got injured. So Nerlens Noel deserves a ton of credit. Now let's get into Derrick Rose because Derrick Rose has played a total of 10 games and we just acquired him. He's a big reason why I feel like we were 8-3 in the last 12 or so games in the last 3 weeks. Derrick Rose's acquisition from Leon Rose, beautiful. We gave up Dennis Smith Jr. and a second-round pick. Derrick Rose's value on this team is way more than we can even imagine. It's more than just his play on the court. It's his leadership off the floor. It's his ability to mentor Emmanuel quickly, RJ Barrett, get them in tune with Tom Thibodeau's system, get them in tune with the New York market because he was a Knick before, and get them in tune on how to be a top-tier talent in this league and how to be playing like an MVP caliber. No, Derrick Rose is not going to be an MVP again, but he is putting up really good numbers for the Knicks. He is averaging 12.5 points per game and 5 assists per game, 1.1 steals. So he's just a guy that's going to come in and day out and do his job and just be a guy that leads by example. Now let's get into some players that maybe did not have the best first half of the season, such as Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin was a lottery pick, and when we drafted him, we all anticipated him to be NBA ready. He's an older rookie. He just turned 23 years old, and he's a guy that needs to be able to, come right in and light it up. That was our expectations when we first drafted him, just because he won College Player of the Year and all that. So Obi Toppin, he has not really done anything too impressive, and actually a lot of Knicks fans are already writing him off as a bust. I don't see that. I'm not on that mindset yet. I do not think I can personally write somebody off as a bust that only played a total of 27 games and averages only 12 minutes per game. He does not get a lot of minutes on the floor because Julius Randle's so good where he's on the bench, and that's okay. Julius is so insanely good that Obi Toppin doesn't get in rhythm, and I understand that. But what I see from Obi Toppin is he settles for jump shots a little too much. I want to see him attack the rim, but him shooting beyond the arc tells me that he has confidence to hit those shots, and I feel like throughout the course of his career, if he continues to work on his craft, he's going to be able to hit that outside shot and stretch the floor. We know that he's an athletic freak. We know that he can dunk on anybody, and he has that pick and roll mindset. Obi Toppin's the type of player that needs a point guard to feed him down low when he's cutting to the rim, throw up the alley-oops, give him that nice, pick and roll when he's cutting to the rim and he can dunk on somebody or finish through contact. I'm not too worried about Obi Toppin. I feel like he's shown strides. I feel like he's getting more comfortable. Sometimes he posts people up and he has a really beautiful looking post move. Sometimes he does a post move and it's an air ball. Sometimes he puts up air balls, so I understand why some Knicks fans are a little on Obi Toppin, but be patient with him. I feel like he will be fine in time. And that really segues into our last player I want to talk about, which is Frank Ntilikina. Frank Ntilikina, we drafted him, right? What is this, his 4th year? When we drafted Frank, I said he's going to be a 4 to 5 year project. And I feel like right when we drafted him, like, Knicks fans are going to be impatient with him. We're going to see him in year 2 struggle. We're going to see him in year 3 struggle, because this was an 18-year-old that we drafted from France who does not have a good mentality coming from there. He doesn't have confidence in himself. He has no idea what's coming for him in the New York market. And here we are. Obviously, Frank has not done anything insane, but he is developing into a 3-and-D type of player before our eyes, and that's all Frank needs to do. He needs to be a guy that can play off the ball, lock down on defense, and hit the three-point efficiently. Frank Ntilikina so far this season, he is shooting the ball 61% from 3. Yes, that's not a lot of attempts, but he is shooting the ball efficiently. I wish he can get more minutes, and I wish he can put the ball up more. But that really does it for my breakdown of the first half. I know this is a very long video, but I wanted to give you guys my initial thoughts on some individual players, the overall thoughts on Leon Rose, Tom Thibodeau. If you guys stayed until the end of the video, please comment down below a Statue of Liberty emoji, because this was a long one, so I'm really curious to see who came all the way to the end. That does it for this video. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day. Let's go Knicks, and I'll catch you guys in my next one. Peace.